Hello everybody, it's back to the sewing machine. I'm glad you met me here. Today I'm going to show you how to make one of my favorite 4.5-inch blocks. Last time we made potato chip blocks, remember those with the stars and all that? That was kind of fun, so I thought, well, what other 4.5-inch square blocks do I like to make? And I decided I'd show you how to make a bow tie. This is my cute little fabric. We've had this fabric, it's gone. I mean, I think it's a Henry Glass, but I'm not sure. But anyway, this is a cute fabric to make with a bow tie. I thought maybe if you went to a little picnic, you could wear your fancy bow tie. And so that kind of was a cute theme for this fabric. And it's a real simple thing. But then I thought I'd bring it up a notch and show you how to make a dimensional bow tie. See, this is dimensional in here. It's got a little bit of a fold in it, and that's kind of a fun one. So, and then here's one that I even took it up another notch and made the center a different color. So this could be the bow tie, or this could be the bow tie. What do you think about that? Isn't that cute?
I love that.
Yeah, that's very cute. I like that a lot too. So anyway, I thought I'd show you how to do it. To make the flat one, it's real simple. To make this flat one, all you need is 2 background pieces, 2.5 inches. 2.5 inches, 2 bow tie pieces, 2.5 inches, 2.5 inches, and then 2 1.5 inches of the bow tie color. Okay? So background, bow tie, and bow tie collar for the center. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these, and if you didn't have anything on any markings on your machine to help you keep your center diagonal line on your needle line here, I don't think yeah, it is. It's I didn't think my machine was threaded, but it is. If you didn't have any kind of a gizmo on your machine to help you know where your center line is, you would need to mark a diagonal line on these pieces. Now you could use a pencil or a chalk pencil or one of them things that erases with heat. I don't like those things because I don't know what kind of chemical that is. So I don't ever use one of those. I just use a chalk pencil or a pencil. And that's going to be my sewing line, the diagonal. I'm going to sew from one point to the other point, and it doesn't matter what corner you put it on. So I'm going to put that right into my sewing machine. That one point is right on my sewing, right at my needle line. And then this little line right here on my makeshift kind of, I do by myself with my blue tape. There's my needle line right there. I put little arrows so I'd know which one was my needle line. I'm going to put the point right there, and I'm just going to sew from diagonal to diagonal. I'm going to do my other one that way. Now, if your bow ties, if your background had a directional to it, you'd have to pay attention to that. Mine doesn't. Mine's just a scattering of fruit. So I didn't do very good on that one. I'm going to redo it. Can't really see my line here. Should have drawn my diagonals. There we go. That's better. No, didn't have my needle in. Okay, well, I'm going to redo it till it's perfect. Do you see what happened? I didn't sew on my diagonal there. See? Look how far off I am. I mean, I'm almost a 1/4 inch off. I ain't gonna settle for that. I don't care if I am on video. You know, nobody is perfect. Nobody is perfect, and you want to do your best work. If you don't care, it's fine. Don't worry about it. Keep on going. But for me, I'm gonna redo. Okay. I think my line got a little crooked there. That's what I think. That's why it's better to have one of those that's already made. Okay. This one's off too. I'm gonna redo it. because why do something, you know, halfway? I mean, that's my motto. Some people, they just, you know, fly by the seat of their pants, and that's all good. I think that's just fine. That's a free spirit, and you probably don't have as many gray hairs as I do, because I'm a worrywart, and I'm a perfectionist. And
you dye your hair, Dawn?
No, I don't.
You don't have any gray hairs.
You know what? When
you know
my
that?
mom...
You don't have any gray hairs.
I do. I have a few. I call them tinsel.
You have less gray than I do.
My mom, when she was really ill, and I would go over and sit with her every night after work, and one time she says, "How long have you been coloring your hair?" I said, "Now, Mom, you know me better than that. You know I would not spend money on my hair. It kills me to pay for a haircut. I'm telling you, that's just, if I could teach somebody how to cut my hair for free, I would, because it just kills me. I don't like to spend money on clothes or haircuts. Now, I'll spend money on fabric, you better believe it, or gadgets. Oh, I love me some gadgets. You know how I feel about my rulers and gadgets and things. So anyway, but hair, no, I ain't going to be spending my money on hair color. That stuff's expensive. Okay, well, my needle came unthreaded. Is today a jinxie day or what? Now, see, if this was happening to me at home, I'd get up and I'd get me a snack. This is just too much going wrong.
Why don't we just pause for a snack? It's not live. We could hit pause, go get a snack, come back.
Oh my goodness. At night, you know, I sew a lot at night, late night, and if I make 3 mistakes right in a row, I give up. That's my limit. 3 is my limit, because you know some nights you're just too far gone. So anyway, let's try this again. We're going to get it right here pretty soon. Okay, so you know, if you've been sewing as long as I have, things like that happen. Now see, that's much better. Much better. So see, it goes from diagonal to diagonal. Where's my other one?
Behind you, in front of the machine.
Oh, there it is. Oh,
I don't know why I
gotta
said
sew
behind
that
you.
one. I don't know either. Okay. You know what? I think I was following the wrong line. There's my needle line right there. That would be the problem. I put the arrows on the wrong line. So that would be my issue. Okay, so now that I have that all fixed and done, I'm going to cut off this excess. Now this is what I call a connecting corner. Anytime you hear somebody talk about a connecting corner, that's what they're doing. They're just adding a different color to fill out on the corner of the square, to fill out the square. So it's a connecting corner. You see that? And I'm going to be lazy today, and I'm just going to use my finger iron here to press those open. I'm not going to get up and go to the sewing machine. Just going to press those open with my finger iron here. Now, some people have a little roller. You know, have you seen those, Peter, where it's a little roller?
I have a roller.
You do, ya?
Uh-huh.
Well, I've always just had this, and it serves as my stylus and my finger iron. So there's that. Then I'm going to take these. Now I'm going to lay it out, and I'm going to do opposites. So see, if I take these away, it makes like a little butterfly in there. Then I'm going to put this back here and this back here. Then I'm just going to flip this one over and flip this one over. I'm going to line them up. Hey, I don't even think I'm going to pin. Now don't fall over. I know.
What?
Don't fall over.
Oh
my gosh, pick yourself back up, because I'm not pinning. Yeah, I'm not going to pin. I'm going to put that seam to the top so I can watch it, but I'm not going to pin it. And I didn't even iron it. I mean, what in the world has gotten into me? Today's Martin Luther King's birthday. You know, he's been gone for a while, but we still recognize his dream. I wish it would come true, don't you?
yes.
So, Now look what I've got.
What do you got?
I've got one that goes that way and one that goes that way. Now usually I would press seams open, but if I want to lock these in place, what I can do is I can press towards the dark color. If I did that with my iron, it'd be better, but you know what? I'm just sitting here at my sewing machine, enjoying the day. And now I'm going to put these together, but I'm going to make sure that those two butterfly wings kiss each other. And guess what? I am going to break down and pin right there in that middle section. You know, I'm going to make sure that
I knew it.
You knew I
knew
couldn't
there
get
was
away.
gonna be a
You knew
pin.
I couldn't get away with it all day long, didn't you? You knew it. You knew there would be a pin involved sooner or later. If Dawn is at the sewing machine, there's going to be a pin involved. Sooner or later. Now I'm always straightening. I don't know if you saw that, but this kind of went over this way a little bit on its own while I was sewing that part. And see that? I'm going to just adjust that. I'm always adjusting. I'm always kind of lining things up, making sure.
Would one say that you like to keep your eye on the ball?
I like to keep my eye on the cotton ball.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, I'm in rare form today, Peter.
Me too.
Yeah. So, now look what I have. Now, I would press this seam open because I want it to lay real good and flat, okay?
The final.
The final seam, I would press that open. But isn't that pretty?
Mm.
So you can make... Now,
Look
look
at
what...
those choice of colors.
Yeah. Now, look what you can do. Is see, you can line them up straight across.
Oh, look at that.
Or you can make them spin.
Oh, look at that.
Look at that, see?
Look at that.
Isn't that fun?
Ooh.
I mean, there's all kinds of ways you can lay them out. And I'll tell you what, if you go on YouTube and look at all the ones on YouTube, all the different designs, just put in bow tie quilts. Oh, a million will pop up. And then, you know, you'll have lots of layout choices.
Could you make it scrappy?
This kind of is scrappy if I made another
Like
one
where
a different color.
Every bow tie is a different color.
Yeah, oh yeah,
Is that-
definitely. That would just be so much fun, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
And what a scrap buster that would be, right?
Yeah.
Because you've already, remember I taught you when you finish a project to cut your stuff up into squares. So you would just go to your 2.5 inch and 1.5 inch drawer and you just pull out your squares you already have done. And voila, you know, you're ready to go. Or if you've got a nice fat quarter bundle, you know it all coordinates.
Mm.
Just cut some of it up into 2.5 and 1.5 inch squares, and away you go. Okay? For the dimensional one, you need 5 squares of the same size. You can use any size squares you want as long as they're all 5 the same size. So I'm going to use, again, 2.5 inch squares. That seems to be my favorite. Of course, you know, we're talking about a 4 inch finished. So this is what I've got. I've got 3 bow tie colors, 3 of the bow tie color, and 2 of my background color. All right. I'm going to take one of the bow ties. This is going to be my center. So if I wanted my center to be a different color, see, that would be 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, 2.5. That would be one of my choices over here on my my bow tie side. All right. So if I want it the same color, then I use that. And I'm going to fold it wrong sides together. Now that's kind of weird because usually we fold right sides together, but I'm going to have wrong sides together. And I'm not going to crease that. I'm just going to fold it so it's the hot dog shape. Okay? Of course, it's a square. It's going to be a hot dog shape no matter which way you fold it, unless you fold it on the diagonal. Then, with one of my bow tie colors, I'm going to lay that across the top. Like that. So now I have 3 pieces of fabric up there that are the raw edge. And then I'm going to take one of my backgrounds and I'm going to sandwich that hot dog right in between my bun. One of my buns is the bow tie color, and the top bun is my background color. And I'm just going to sew a 1/4 inch. And look what I did. I sewed along the top. And that gives me this, and that's wrong. Don't do that, okay? I did it on purpose. I know you think I didn't, but I did, because that's the temptation, okay? And that's what you get. You get this, and that's not what you want. So I'm going to pick that out. You know, my favorite way of ripping is I take a few little stitches at the front. I put the red ball to the bottom. And it's tricky because there's lots of layers in there, and you got to be between the correct layers. And I just run that across. And your seam ripper has to be really sharp, and it just cuts it lickety-split. Now what I want to do is, instead of sewing along the long side with all 4, I want to sew down one of the sides like this. So when I open it up, I'll have a whole different thing, and I'm going to show you what that is. Now I should pin, but I'm not going to. I'm wild today. I'm just wild.
Wile E. Coyote.
I'm telling you, I'm running amok. What does that mean? I'm running amok. That's a Hoosierism, I bet. Okay, now look what I get. I get this wackadoo thing like this. Okay, and this sticks out like a wing. Okay? So I'm going to do the other thing to the other side. Again, I'm going to put my bow tie color down. I'm going to put my bun on top, my background bun on top. It's like sandwiching a hot dog in there. And of course, I'm going to go down this side like this, even though it's tempting to go across the top. I'm not going to do it. Oh, I got my shoes on. That's my whole problem right there. You know me, I like to sew without my shoes on. Okay, now look what I have. I have this wackadoo thing going on. It's this little piece of folded fabric sandwiched between these 2 pieces, these 4 pieces here. So see how weird that is? Okay, and then this opens up. It's got a little fold, all right? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our seam, we're gonna push it over to the bow tie side, whichever's the darkest. Okay, so I'm going to kind of pinch that over. Got my finger down in that little pocket, and I'm folding that over. And then I'm going to do this one the opposite way. And I'm going to join those seams, okay? I'm going to kind of feel that they're kind of locked together. Then I'm going to take this little pocket thing here, and I'm going to push the fold way down in there as far as I can. I'm going to fold this, bring it up so it's even, and I'm going to pin that. First, I'm going to pin this piece because I don't want it to go anywhere. So I'm going to pin that. And then I'm going to finagle with this. I'm going to get that. And you know what? Sometimes I even get my pointer out. And I just really push that fold down in there because I don't want to catch that fold in my seam. So I'm going to put a pin there. And I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. See how that fold is in there? I want to push that fold way down in there so it doesn't get caught in my seam. Come on, little fold. Sometimes you have to baby them because they really like to. Now today, Chloe is at home with her dad because it's Martin Luther King Day and he didn't have to work. So it's a no Chloe day for Gizzy and Biscuit, who are my dogs. And this one just doesn't want to cooperate for some reason.
Having a hard time getting the sheet back in the fold.
Yeah. So anyway, Biscuit and Gizzy are having a Chloe free day, which they always usually enjoy, because Chloe's a puppy and Gizzy and Biscuit are 2 old men. Okay, now I got it. And see how I've pulled that from the bottom there and got that fold out of my way? I'm going to pin that in place. That's the trickiest part right there. The rest of it's a breeze. Okay, here we go. I'm going to bring those 2 together. And it's not going to be straight. It doesn't really look straight. See how kind of V-shaped it is? I'm going to bring it to the sewing machine. Now there's some bulk going on here in the middle. So you're going to have to make sure that those seams go opposite each other. These seams right here that are in the middle. Takes a little effort. It's kind of fun though. Okay, now see how this is way down there? I got to pull this one over. Pull it up so it's 1/4 of an inch. Hopefully that little fold stayed out of the way. It's much easier if you use a bigger block, bigger square. You have more room in there. But I like these little 4.5 inch ones, so I think it's worth the effort. Now check that out. Look at that. It's the cutest little thing. You've got this little pockety thing here going on. Little pockety thing here. Let's go over and press them. Where'd that one go that I haven't pressed? Well, now I
Right
can't
there.
Right here.
That's
this
the
is
one,
it.
yeah.
All righty, let's go over to the ironing board. I'm working on another project here with all my 30s reproductions. I'm so excited about that. This Saturday, which is the 22nd of January 2000.
Oh, you're doing demos.
I'm going to be doing a demo.
I'll have to take that day off.
And I'm going to demo the pineapple ruler. You can see the pineapple ruler, my pineapple blocks here behind me. I'm getting ready for that demo. And so I'm very excited about that. Of course, to cut my pieces, I used my Stripology ruler that I showed you a couple weeks ago.
I was doing my first project was a pineapple block.
Really?
For the shop, and it wasn't clear as to saying, for this design to work out, you should really have some light fabric so it makes a pineapple. And so I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah,
I mean,
it really makes a difference.
This was like my first project, so I had different colors, and I made it scrappy, and it was a charm pack.
And so they all were scrappy, you mean? So it
horrible.
Yeah, it's always nice to have a contrasting color on the odd rows and then the even rows, so you can see here. Now this one isn't as noticeable because the light and the dark are a little bit less contrasting than this. This has more contrast. And then look over here, this one has really lots of contrast over here. And then I love this fall with this dark in the corners and all the same centers. And then this was fun because I put the darks on the corners and in the center, but then the red and the cream colored. So I love doing the pineapple. This one's going to be green for my background and then all scrappy with my 30s reproduction. And I'm excited about that. Now, come up here and let me show you how to press this one that's got the dimensions. Because, usually I press open, but on this one you can't. You're going to press that one seam to one side and the other seam to the other side. And then that middle seam, you're just going to press to one side or the other. Now that creates a lot of bulk in that middle, but the bulk is covered up because it's got that dimension, that little dimensional thing to it. If I don't keep moving this iron, it flops up on me, so I got to keep moving it. Alrighty, so there's that. And then the best thing, you've always got to come in and you've got to square up your blocks so that they all go together. So I've been trying to use this Martelli rotating mat. Cappy wanted me to try it, and I took it home for the weekend.
DJ John.
And you know what? It's very different from the very first ones they came out with. When the rotary rotating mats first came out, they were wobbly and you couldn't get a good cut. They were cushiony and it was just a disaster. So I never did try one again because I thought that's just ridiculous. I just can't deal with that, you know? But they've really improved it. This has got a non-stick backing to it. And I mean, when you put it down, it doesn't go anywhere. Okay, see that doesn't slide? And then the turntable also has a grippy dude thing to it. So when you put this down, I mean, it is down. It's not going anywhere. And it's very sturdy. I mean, it doesn't, you know, do this kind of a dance. So I'm going to take my 4.5 inch ruler because that's what size these blocks are supposed to be. And I'm going to square it up. And there's not much to square up, but look at how nice this ruler is because, I mean this mat, because I can now just flip it around and I don't have to move my ruler or anything. I just got a few slivers, but you know, those slivers make a difference, don't they? Now let's do this one. And what I love about this Creative Grid 4.5 inch ruler is it shows me the middle. So all I have to do is see, here's my middle seams. So all I have to do is put that ruler right down, match that seam with that white line, that seam, and this seam, and now I know it's in the center, and now all I have to do is do 2 sides. Don't even have to move my ruler. Put my ruler down, because it's dimensional, it kind of moved on me, but it didn't on that other one. And see, I only got a couple little slivers. And now my blocks are squared up and ready to sew in to the quilt. So come over here. And see how cute my little blocks are. Let's go that way. Let's go this way. Go this way and see how cute that would be as a little quilt. Isn't that adorable? And of course, like I showed you, you can flip them around. You can flip them like that, or
could it make a puppy quilt?
Mm-hmm.
Do they look like little dog bones?
I probably wouldn't make the dimensional one for a puppy because he could get his little claws in there and it could snag his paws, or his paws could snag the quilt.
Or his tail get
or
stuck in
whatever, you know, or chew on it. You know, puppies like to chew. So I would see, yeah, it kind of does look like a little dog bone, doesn't it?
We could hand embroider Chloe's name on the bones.
Oh, wouldn't that be adorable? You get right on that, Peter, would ya? Okay, so see how it's just, you know, you've got options. And that looks like the bow ties are going around in a circle. So if you want to try out the bow tie, it's pretty simple, especially if you do just the flat one. If you do the dimensional one and you don't want it to be so fiddly, just bump up the size of the squares. Bump them up maybe to 3.5 instead of 2.5. Alrighty? So that's it for today. We'll meet you back at the sewing machine next week, hopefully. Will I be here? Yes, I will be here. I'll be here next week. So see you then. Bye.